Well, Libra, the full moon is in your sign and it is opposite of Aries right now, your opposite sign. And it actually looks like what you've been trying to do over the past couple of weeks and what will culminate at this full moon is I think you're trying to channel some of that Aries energy. I think you're trying to bathe in that reflection, get some of that, reflected light, sort of channel the Aries within yourself. Okay, so I think that might look like working on your self confidence in particular and on how you extend yourself to other people out in the world, your warmth when dealing with other people. And you're learning that both of these things are really hard work, actually, harder than you thought. Part of that might be because you are an air sign, you're kind of in your head, whereas Aries as a fire sign is in their heart. So that's something you're trying to work on. And the Magician card here, I think, is telling us, in terms of something you need to let go of, I think it's telling us that you need to let go of that perfectionism and the really high expectations you have on yourself as being somebody who has it all under control, who can manipulate any given situation. I think you need to leave more room for others. I think you need to remember that you don't always have to be right. No one is always right. You can put down the sword and walk away. In fact, I think you need to put down the sword. Because what happens is when you engage in this battle of wits, everybody gets burned. Look at this. So you won. So what? Look how much turmoil you've created, how many friends you've lost, the other people that you've hurt, and ultimately you're just hurting yourself. I said you're working on your confidence. Well, the reason that's so hard is because confidence is a very different thing than ego. Ego is a false confidence. It's a mask that people put on when they really are unsure of themselves, but they don't want anybody to see it because it makes them feel weak. And I think you're getting a taste of this during this full moon. This may not be your normal state of being. I think you're you're pretty humble in general, but I think you're getting a taste of this full moon. And like I said, what you need to do is lay down the sword. And you're going to get a couple extra cards because it's your full moon and we had these guys coming out. Bottom of the deck was Queen of Cups. Lay down your sword and feel instead. Try to have some compassion and understand where the people around you are coming from. Don't just knock down their ideas. Whether or not you're right, it literally just doesn't even matter. Try that exercise. Try saying it just doesn't matter which one of us is objectively correct. What would it be like if I saw the world the way the person sitting across from me does? Explore what it would be like to have different perspectives and different opinions on things. That's really the fun of life. That's where you'll see the spark, where that real genuine spark of self-confidence will grow from. So there we had the Queen of Cups. Now we have the King of Cups making an appearance, which shows me that you're going to grow through this experience. You're going to grow and receive the wisdom that comes from empathy, from walking a mile in someone else's shoes. You're going to be so much more well-rounded. And so by getting through this experience and learning the genuine difference between ego and self-confidence, you're really going to become a whole new person. A whole new person that can step through the looking glass, if you will. Oh, and we had one flyer from earlier. The world, yeah, a whole new world. Through the looking glass and into a whole new world with a whole new perspective. I think that's so valuable for you, Libra, because as somebody who thinks everything to death, you probably think you understand where people are coming from, but I'm not sure that you've taken the time to really go deep. unpacking the logic of a person's opinion really doesn't tell you as much about them as you think. Like, what really tells you something about a person is when you can imagine yourself as them in their shoes, you know, having had the same life experiences they have, like genuinely not just saying, oh, if that happened to me, I would blah, 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 and being dismissive, as we so often do to people. But really thinking, well, what if I had grown up the way they grew up and I had been dealing with the same life stressors as they did when they were making this decision? Really putting yourself in these people's position, that's called empathy. And that in the future is going to help you make better decisions and help you factor into your worldview, which is always going to be pretty analytic. And I'll let you have that.